Hi everyone, so my name is Jasmin Ramirez and I'm a senior at Arcadia University. My major is in psychology and my minor is in sociology. So today what I'm going to be talking with all of you is internships. So with Arcadia going fully online in fall, a lot of us had to make adjustments to our internship, schedule, the way we go in for our internship. So I have worked with my internship since 2018 and I am a Florida student, so the 1,500-mile commute was a little too much for me. So I did go fully online as an intern. There are definitely some pros and cons to being virtual and in person, so I'm going to cover that in today's video. So the first thing in our internship Q&A, I like to call it Q&A even though questions were not brought to me. I'm just kind of predicting what to ask. And it would be, what's the difference between being virtual and being in person? And I would say that the biggest difference is kind of like your workload. So what you're able to do. So I know for me in person, I was able to do a lot more of the hands-on, and now that I'm virtual, I do a lot of the data entry, the computer work kind of thing, which was a big adjustment. But as an intern, you kind of have to be flexible with those kinds of differences, especially since my internship was willing to be flexible with me and allow me to be an online intern. I think another key difference between being in person and virtual is the boundary of knowing your internship hour. So for example, when you are in person, you work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for example. So those are your set internship hours. But being virtual, I found that I kind of needed to create the boundaries with myself and with my supervisors, and knowing that, okay, this is my designated time for my internship responsibilities, but once that allocated time is done with, that's it, I put it away. And sometimes that can be a little harder to do when you're online because it's more full range or free range, because it's unlimited time, it feels like, but it is important to have those boundaries for your own mental health and for your own self-care. Something that is important for both being in person and being virtual is communication. But I think there's also differences in how we will communicate and how effective that it can be based on whether we're in person or virtual. So for example, when I was in person, it was a lot easier to talk to my supervisors and communicate with them about the do's and don'ts if I needed clarification on things. Versus virtual, I found that I felt a little more hesitant to reach out to my supervisors just because I felt like I was pestering them with a lot of emails. But I would let your supervisor know ahead of time, just listen, I want to make sure that we're able to communicate effectively, so I will be sending you a little more emails than I normally do, so that I can make sure that I'm doing work the appropriate way and that it's effective in. And I think that that's important and something that we need to consider when being virtual, that even though we're not in person, we still need to be communicating effectively and using those skills wisely. I think the key thing that I want you to take away from this message is that being virtual, it's important to try to treat your internship the same way that you did when you were in person, with the same level of professionalism, with the same level of respect, and do the same quality work. So I know with being virtual, it's a lot easier to kind of put things off, or to even put a lot of things on your plate because you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing. But I think that we need to sit down with ourselves and create boundaries with ourselves in terms of how much time we would dedicate to spending on an internship. And I think that it's important to establish those boundaries with your supervisor as well, and let them know how much time do you want me to dedicate in my schedule towards this work. And again, just reaching out, being effective in your communications, asking them for feedback. I think that it's important to still do that despite being in person. I wish everyone good luck on your virtual internships, and talk to your supervisors if you have any questions, or talk to a professor if you feel like you need some professional input on how to go about your Q&As for your internships. Hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye!